What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9, episode 7. And it was a pretty mid episode, but what I will say is I'm over Gordon, I'm over Mia, I'm over Ink, I'm over the whole thruple because this storyline is no longer like entertaining. It's just embarrassing and it's awkward and it's cringy and it's like, why are we doing this? That's where I'm at now. Cause at first, I will be honest, I was entertained last season with Mia and Gordon and the whole revelation, like is Jeremiah Gordon's son and all of that. But now it just feels like either we keep adding things to this story to make it more than what it is, or this is actually the story. And I was like, girl, this a lot. and it's uncomfortable. But let's get into this review. Don't really have anything for the spicy corner. If you do want a little bit of tea, a little bit of spice, check out the drama video, one of my latest videos. I'll definitely link it in the description box below. And y'all know I try my best to timestamp everything. So there is a Potomac section where I talk about Candace and, congratulations to her and Chris for the new baby, as well as we talk about Stacy and the statement that she gave about her relationship status with TJ. And I talk about Jazzy and about the baby mama coming out. So again, check the link in the description box below and just look in the comments and hit the timestamp. But let's get into the review. Let's talk about it. So the episode opens up and we are at Stacy's crash pad. And TJ is there sitting on the couch eating some Chobani yogurt. I know what that container looks like, okay? And so he's admiring the pad. She's excited because I don't think he has ever been there. And she was like, this is my place from home when my husband is with my daughter. And I'm just like, I like being here. So to commemorate the moment, she wants her and TJ to do like portraits of each other. And she pulls out this box and it has like easels and like paintbrushes and paint and everything and canvases. And so they sit at the cute little kitchen table that she has. And she's like, this is what people do on dates, And I think TJ was like, yeah. She was like, do you want some wine? And he was like, girl, I don't drink. So she was like, you don't drink. He was like, and we not having sex. And I'm like, girl, then what do y'all do? And so they get to painting and she tries to like flirt with him in the midst of them painting each other. And it's not really like I feel like, because I'm awkward. I know I'm awkward when I flirt with people, but some people get it and some people don't get it. But I can be direct. And I feel like she was being direct and he just was like, I don't want it, And so she was like, TJ, I'm trying to flirt with you. And he kind of gave her this look like, girl, for what? Yeah, you know what this is. And so they end up revealing the portraits to each other. They weren't really giving, but it was like, they're not artists, so I didn't expect much from them. So they thought it was real cute. They were laughing at each other's portraits. And so then they get up and they sit on the couch. And so then she brings up, I think TJ brings up, so where are you in your divorce? And Stacy ends up saying that they're going to like mediation because there are some things that they're having trouble making decisions on. And then eventually once they figure all that information out, then the next process would just be like, filing for the divorce and then her signing the divorce papers and then everything will be done. So then she brings up how the ladies were like laughing at her about their relationship. Like, Giselle brought up how, her husband was a religious man and, he wasn't really celibate, like, Jamal was not celibate. And she was just kind of like, they feel like you might be running game on me. And TJ's like, I don't really care about their opinion because I know what it is and you know what it is. And so they end up showing the flashback when Wendy and Giselle were like laughing hard in Stacy's face. Stacy even reiterates to TJ, like, girl, they was kiki and caw-caw. They was like, ah, ha, ha, in my face. And he was like, that's okay. Because you know what? They not laughing at me. They laughing at God. And I don't know why the way he said that tickled me. Like, I rewound that part like 2 times. He's like, they laughing at God. I screamed. I said, sir. Okay. And even Stacy was looking at him like, That's your response? I think honestly why people think that Stacy and TJ aren't like together is because he doesn't give off that he likes her like that. Like even if he was celibate, which is his right and he shouldn't be ashamed or shamed for it, it's like you don't give that you like her. It gives that y'all are just friends. And like I said, I think we getting bamboozled by Stacy and TJ, where Stacy was like, I need a storyline that's not my husband because it doesn't seem like her husband wants any involvement in this, like, this new business ventures of hers of being a part of Real Housewives because we never see his face. It's always blurred out when they show pictures. That she was like, okay, I need a storyline, so let me bring TJ. And I think TJ is a struggling actor who's trying to get his face out there and get more roles because now people are starting to like dig back into the archives and pull up videos of him. I saw a video of him where he was supposedly like eye candy on Sister Sister, and he did not look the same. So I don't even know if that was really him, but the people were like, oh no, that is TJ. And I'm like, are y'all sure that's that man? But I get it. Like they're both using each other and playing in our faces. Cause I was like, girl, you don't like that man. And that man don't really like you. Cause I'm just like, even if he was celibate, I feel like he would be doing more to make Stacy feel like wanted. Cause constantly telling that lady you don't want to sleep with her, it's like, okay, bro, we get it. You don't want to sleep with the lady. All right, okay. We have is with the OGs. So they're meeting up at Ashley's house. Mind you, I didn't understand why Giselle had on wedges with this outfit. It was like a two-piece outfit. I said, Giselle, this is giving lounge wear. If you don't put on some sneakers and call it a day, I think this the outfit Ashley had on was actually one of the cutest outfits that Ashley has ever had on this show and this season. I didn't really like her hair, but I thought the two-piece outfit was really cute. So they're sitting outside waiting for Karen. And mind you, the spread that they had was not a spread. It was popcorn, croissants. I did see some strawberries and some nuts. And I said, girl, what is this? I was like, I don't know why y'all have this aversion to like a fruit tray or a vegetable tray and then like a cute little charcuterie board. Like, I don't understand. It's not computing for me. So they're outside waiting. We find out that they want to check in on Karen because her court date is in 5 days. Ashley is like, girl, I don't really know the particulars of the situations. The court's kind of scaring me. I said, we know because it's been taking you almost a decade to divorce this man that you with, you know? And so when they're sitting down outside, Ashley shares that she's been doing this detox where she's been drinking like orange juice and like olive oil. And it's been like making her regular and clearing up her skin. She's also been using it on her mom to help her. She's trying to get her mom on like a new health kick, mainly because they found out that she has like a blockage in her heart. So, we then see Karen pull up. And so Karen is like, grateful that they want to sit down and check in on her. And I think Giselle's like, how are you feeling after Lake Norman? And Karen was like, I'm all right, but I'm a little pissed off and still a little hurt at the fact that Jacqueline and Mia tried to insinuate that I needed to go to rehab or Alcoholics Anonymous and that I was asking them for help. And she was like, and you would think Mia, of all people who had an opioid addiction, would like handle this situation with care. So then Giselle is like, opioid addiction, what you talking about? And so Karen is like, it was on her YouTube channel. And they showed the news clip that I showed you guys in the last Spicy Corner, but it's a longer version where she explains that like she overdosed on opioids, and the joint chiropractic is like the holistic route she went to, like, I guess, getting off of it, or like helping remedy her fix of not having to be dependent on the pills. So I said, okay. So then Giselle in her confessional said, this is classic Karen deflecting. But I don't get where Mia and Giselle are saying that Karen is deflecting. I would understand if the way Karen behaved the first episode of the season where her and Giselle went to that diner and they sat down and Giselle was like, what's going on? And Karen was like, you can read. That to me was deflection. What Karen is doing with Mia is not deflection. Karen is defending herself because Mia and Jacqueline have been trying her since episode 1 when Jacqueline and Mia were trying to insinuate that Karen called Jacqueline drunk. So I'm just kind of like, do y'all just want her to sit there and take it? Because even if I've seen people like compare Shannon, you can kind of compare Shannon, but Shannon wasn't taking Tamara constantly coming at her. She was fighting back. So I'm like, Karen's fighting back, That's how I see it. So then Karen does talk about how she is scared and she's been stressed out, and she's like, I've been prayerful about the whole situation and I'm confident that I'm gonna come out on top. I don't know, because the last time we talked about it, Karen tried to get the case dismissed and they said, no, sis, you're gonna have this trial in December, and I think it's supposed to be like a 2-day trial with a jury. I said, so I don't know, girl. So Karen then pivots the conversation to Giselle, where she's like, well, how are you, Giselle? Because I heard Jamal is engaged. And Giselle looks at her like, yeah, and I don't think I feel like people use Jamal as a dig towards Giselle, but I don't think Giselle cares that much, honestly. I think there's a piece of her that still does, because she did kind of have an attitude where she was like, that's the father of my kids and he always gonna be around. That energy let me know that she still has like a piece for him, but I don't think you can use Jamal as like something to throw at her anymore, because I really don't think she cares. And Giselle ends up being like, no, I'm happy he's getting married. I told Jamal he needs to get married. I always said that pastors and politicians need to be married, And she was like, and he doesn't need to be messing up at new birth. And I said, no, he don't, because you got 3 kids in college and you need that money, okay? And Karen's like, so when you getting a man? Because, I'm tired of you not having nobody to like go home to. And Giselle is like, I'm not trying to get married. It would be nice to just have like somebody that I can be in a relationship with. So then we see production ask her in the confessionals, so did the girls, like, how did the girls react to it? And she was like, honestly, they were surprised, because it went from this is like my friend to this is my fiance. They weren't prepared for that. So Karen says, I'm praying for you. Mind you, Jamal and his fiance got married over the weekend and they posted them pictures, girl. Looking like Glinda the Good Witch in The Wiz. I said, who thought of these? I said, this is AKA realness and wicked realness right here. I said, did they get y'all in on the promotion for Wicked Jamal? Because I was like, this is not what this lady got married in. And then the decor is pink and green. I said, okay. When I saw the pictures, I immediately thought of Wicked. I said, this has to be Wicked promotion. But I said, no, sis got married. And she got married the way she wanted to get married. The next thing we have is of Wendy and her children and her family. We see her brother, her mom, the kids, and Eddie. And they're going to this nice restaurant to celebrate 2 of the kids graduating. So the oldest child is going to middle school, and the youngest one, I think she's going to 1st grade. Because I remember that when when you're that young, you wear the blue cap and gown is to like usher you into 1st grade. So you could tell that Wendy was crying. The middle child is like, yeah, can you chill out? Cut all that, cut it all out. And so the mom starts complaining. Miss Susan starts complaining about how Wendy didn't give her allowance. And Wendy says in their culture, it is customary that you start to pay your parents, because parents feel like, Nigerian parents feel like, I took care of you, so now it's your turn as an adult to take care of me in my old age. So she's like, where the money at? Hand out. And Wendy's like, well, it was late because we're preparing for my 40th birthday. So we found out that Wendy is throwing like an all-white party for her 40th birthday. And Eddie is like, yeah, this birthday is like becoming out of hand, girl. It's becoming costly, all right? So as they're sitting there, they start talking about everyone that's invited. We know Wendy invited Eddie's parents and his siblings, but I don't think the parents are coming. I think the siblings are, or maybe the parents are coming and the siblings aren't, because they're having issues with getting babysitters or something like that. And Wendy's mom is like, this is America. They can find somebody. It's not that deep. But then Susan is singing a different tune, because now she doesn't feel like they can trust these people or want these people at the birthday party. But last episode when they talked about it, Susan was okay with it, but now she like, no dice, beans, and rice. If you know where that reference from, you a real one. So she's like, I'm not down for this, okay? So Eddie does a toast where he's like, we are so proud of you. We're so grateful. Wendy ends up saying, like, I hope you guys get everything y'all wish and wanted for. You got Susan saying, Holy Ghost hellfire again. And this is where Wendy kind of lost me when she said that you guys won't get access to your trust without getting a master's degree. And I'm like, well, Wendy, your character arc has been like you find carving out your own path for yourself because you felt pressured into going in and getting a doctorate. Why are you then going to pressure your kids to get a master's? Now I could understand if she was like, if you don't get a bachelor's degree, but not everybody is cut out to go to graduate school. So I'm just kind of like, you pressuring them to do that doesn't make sense to me. I understand in the climate that we're in that like now it's kind of like you need a master's degree to get paid the money now, but it's just kind of like, girl, you were just complaining about how it was a lot for you and how it now at the age of 40 you finally understand who you are and you realize you're enough and you're not worried about what other people think of you. So pushing that on your kids doesn't make sense to me. But they're kind of excited to see who shows up from Eddie's side of the family because we find out that Eddie's family didn't go to their wedding, didn't go to Eddie G graduating from law school, or it hasn't been to any of the kids' birthdays or any graduations. So they're hopeful that it will be a joyous occasion. So the next thing we see is of Ashley and Sheila. So Sheila stops by Ashley's house with the kids, and when I tell you I'm sick of seeing Ashley's kids on top of furniture. Like last season, we saw them on top of the counters where you see the oldest one grabbing the youngest one to pull him up on the counter. That stressed me out because I was like, what if he drops them or what if they both fall? Now you got to be at the ER because they hurt. Then you have this flashback scene of last episode where the youngest one was on top of the roof of a car. And now we have them sitting on the island in the kitchen, like just roaming around, just feet and just and it's gross. I'm sorry. Like, little kids are gross. Like, I have never got, and if I can find that picture of when it was a little kid's hand on a petri dish and they cultivated like several different type of bacteria on that. That's why little kids be getting foot and mouth disease and they be spreading germs everywhere. So I'm like, why are they sitting on top of the counter? Because I know for a fact Ashley is not like Lysoling it down once they get off. And then they was loud the whole entire time that they was talking. I was like, you haven't taught your kids like inside voices, like, or try to be or play quietly while me and your grandmother are talking. I can't. Okay. So we find out that like Ashley has gone for like mediation, and she said if things go well that by June she might be signing like divorce papers to Michael. Sheila is like, whew, oh my gosh, like I'm so proud of you, you know. I said so then Ashley ends up explaining how like she admires her mom more and she understands her mom more since she has become a single mother. She also explains how, you know, she lost a bit of her confidence once filing for a divorce. You know, they show a flashback of when she was crying about the whole situation with Michael and like the separation, about how she was like, I'm scared that I'm gonna be responsible for 2 kids now, but she has gained her confidence back. She then starts questioning her mom about her relationship because her mom ends up saying like, you know, you are great, you're an awesome person and you deserve to be with somebody that loves you. And Ashley's like, I'm great and I'm happy that you said that and I believe the same thing for you. And she was like, you know how I feel about your man. And her mom was like, Sheila was like, yeah girl, I know. I know. And they do the flashback where Ashley was like, this man is sucking the life out of you, you know? And Sheila just stirring her ramen while her child is scolding her. And Ashley's like, well, how are things now? And Ashley ends up, Sheila ends up saying that like, you know, he has a job. And Ashley's like, well, is it putting a dent into your bills? And Sheila's like, not really. So it's given that he paying like a water bill or a light bill. But Sheila is 58 working 12 hours a night. That's taxing on the body, okay? And what's interesting to me is like, as much as Ashley used to like shade and you know, poke fun at Candace's relationship with Mama Dot would never be doing Ashley the way Sheila is. Because now you have Ashley stressed out and trying to figure out how she can take care of herself, her 2 kids, and her mama, because she knows that eventually her mom is going to have to retire, and the man that she has been with, who almost had her living underneath a bridge in a tent, does not have the means or the wherewithal or the like self-worth, because to live like that to me says you're lacking in self-worth. To rely solely on one person to take care of you and you are a grown man, to take care of her. So now Ashley starts to get emotional, and then Sheila starts to get emotional because she's like, I just want better for you, Mom. And I'm like, Sheila knows that she can get better or deserves better, but I guess she's fine with what she has with this man. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just glad it ain't my mama. Jazzy's event. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I knew the men that be making it rain, make it rain, make it rain, was not about to be at this event. The moment that Jazzy walked into the event and I saw the decor, I said, girl, they not coming to this. I said, y'all got white tablecloths with just one little bouquet. And then the drinks, the bar looked real skimp. And there was really like no like hors d'oeuvres or like food like that. I said, the men are not coming to this. They're not coming. And none of them really showed up other than Jazzy's boyfriend, because he should be there because that's her boyfriend, and one of his little teammates. Other than that, there was nobody there with money. And I was like, girl, it gave very much like college graduation party, because the rest of the men that were like there, it seemed like were couples or were just like friends of. It didn't really give that like NFL players were there. And my whole thing is like, it didn't even have to be people from the Kansas City Chiefs. You got I know they don't call them Redskins anymore. I think, are they called the Commanders? Or I don't think they called it, like, I'm not, is it the Chargers? You know, you have the Washington football team that's there, and you also have the Baltimore Ravens. Like, you could have had like players from them come there too, if they also like knew Darius. But I don't know. I was just like, girl, this is giving real skimp, okay? So we see Ashley and Giselle get there first. I don't know what Ashley had on with the whole box hip area. It wasn't cute. Giselle's outfit from the front looked really nice, but from the back, no. I was like, that whole rolled up in the back effect was not it. We then see Mia and Ink get there. Mind you, Karen calling him DJ Applebox, like Giselle said, was correct, because he's short. I think he my height, and I'm 5'2". Maybe he not that short. Maybe he's like 5'5", maybe 5'6", and Mia has to be like every bit of like maybe 5'9", or between like the 5'9" and like 5'11" category, because he looked small, like standing next to her, especially with her having on heels. So Giselle ends up asking, so how are you guys? It's nice to meet you, Ink. Like, how's everything going? I can't believe you brung him. And Mia's like, he's wonderful. He's great. Like, this is my rock. He's doing great. And Giselle just has this look like, okay. Giselle's like, this doesn't make sense to me, but I'm gonna let you have it. We then see Wendy get there with Eddie. She greets everybody. We then see Kiarna get there. I don't know what in the glitter hell Kiarna had on. I said, Kiarna, where are you going? Where are you going? Especially next to Greg. At least what I will give Wendy and Eddie and Mia and Ink is like they looked like they were going to the same event. Kiarna looks like she was going to, like, I don't know, the drop the ball for like the New Year's. Because that gave me like everybody want to wear glitter during New Year's. And then Greg gave me, he was going to the cigar lounge or the hookah bar. Like it just didn't match, and it didn't make sense to me. And then Jazzy made a mention of how short Greg is to Kiarna, but at least Greg and Kiarna are like the same height, so it worked for them. So Kiarna's saying hey to everybody. She kind of bypasses Mia, and then she takes the moment to like check Mia, where she was like, Mia, we need to get some things straight. So Mia's looking at her like, girl, okay, like what we got to talk about? So Kiarna brings up how she didn't like the fact that she called her man a drug dealer. And she's like, my man's not a drug dealer. He is a social worker. And Mia's like, I didn't call your man a drug dealer. I said one of your boyfriends was a drug dealer. So they do a flashback where she does say, I think she said your drug dealing boyfriend. So Mia was making it seem like that's like who she was with. And so Kiarna was like, that's detrimental. And then Giselle chimes in and was like, that could ruin his reputation. And so Mia said, I can clearly see he's a social worker. And I said, you would know one because you was in foster care. So I was like, what kind of dig is that supposed to be, ma'am? So, but then I kind of looked at Kiarna like, girl, you kind of look stupid. Because I thought y'all squashed it and now you rehashing it again. And it's just like, Kiarna gives very much like, if she can't get you in the moment, she thinks about it and then she wants to keep rehashing it. And it's like, you have to be quicker on Housewives. Like, girl, if you didn't get her while y'all were in Lake Norman, because it seems like y'all kind of squashed it in Lake Norman, that you should have just like kept it where it was, in my opinion. Because I'm just like, Kiarna, Mia immediately was like, I apologize, and they moved on from it. And she's like, okay, we're good. And Giselle's like, is the air cleared? And she was like, yeah. And I was just kind of like, this kind of felt pointless. I'm just gonna say it just kind of felt pointless. Scene we have is when Stacy and TJ get there, and everybody's like, "Yo!" Even Wendy was like, "Oh my God, is that TJ?" And everyone was like, "Oh, so she brought him." So they meet the infamous TJ. Wendy is, I could think Wendy and Eddie are the first ones to meet TJ, and so Wendy's like, Eddie, this is TJ, Stacy's man. And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Stacy's like, okay, let me just walk away. I said, okay, Stacy, let you just walk away. And so Wendy was like, I met TJ and I realized, yeah, that man's not sexually active. So we then see him talking to Ashley. And it's like a group of them where I think it is Ashley, TJ, Eddie, and what's her name? Yvette is there. Is that Karen's friend, and then we actually do see Karen, and so they are like standing talking to TJ with Stacy, and I think Eddie was like, well, how did y'all relationship like come to be? And he was like, well, we were friends, and things just manifested from there. And so Eddie is like, the best relationship starts off as friendships, and he was like, yeah. So then Ashley's like, so what do y'all do? Like what, like he was like, we work out. The last time we went to the zoo, and Ashley's like, the zoo. And here's my thing. I wouldn't be hating on the zoo if he actually paid for it, but the National Zoo is free. You could at least take me to the Baltimore Aquarium, but when I tell you the National Zoo is free, like it's free, like the zoo during the summer, packed. I mean, filled, okay? Like people walk through the zoo to get their steps in or to just work out. So I'm just kind of like, y'all just be going to the zoo. Y'all just be going to the free thing. Because there is a lot. Like the museums. I think the only museums that are not free is the News Museum. And I don't know a lot of people that go to that museum. And I think for the Holocaust Museum and then African American Museum, you need to have like reservations because there's always like really long lines to get there. But like most of the museums and like things around like the DC, Maryland area, especially if it's like educational, is free. So I'm just kind of like, that's not a flex to me. You need to be taking me out places, sir. Okay, so we then see the people mixing and mingle, and we actually see Darius pull up. He expresses like his experience while he was at the at the White House. He talks about how Joe Biden gave like a speech with the helmet on and everything. We see his other friend is there with him. And then Giselle is like, oh, she understands why Jazzy is with, Darius. Them arms is big. I said, I guess so, sis. So then, Jazzy does like a speech and everything, and I was just like, okay, this is cute. Whatever, So we then see some of the ladies huddled together, and we hear Mia. We don't see her mouth moving, but we hear Mia basically press Karen and be like, how dare you try to talk about me and my addiction issues or what I went through and you got like what you going through. Like, you are the last person that needs to be speaking about anybody with addiction issues. And Karen was like, well, girl, you started it first. So then Giselle interjects and she's like, well, I told Mia what you told me. And they show us a flashback of it was Stacy and Mia and Giselle out to lunch, and Mia brought up the whole opioid situation, and Mia explains that she got addicted after having her first son, and she was like, I'm not addicted, she had an overdose. She said she had an overdose, and she was like, I had an overdose, I wasn't addicted to opioids. Ushers Karen and Mia to come sit down, and it just reminds me of what I said before we even saw this season, how it seems like Mia is turning into the third face of Potomac, because the way that they were seated and none of the ladies were around them, I was like, oh, it's given like these are now our like supremes, you know what I'm saying? And so Giselle pretty much was like orchestrating everything, and she was like, say your piece. So Karen ends up saying like, Mia, I've been a good friend to you, and the way that you have been treating me these past couple of days lets me realize like we pretty much was never really friends. So then Mia was just like, well, how dare you try to use like my overdose against me? And Karen is like, you did the same to me. So then we actually see production ask Mia about her overdose situation, where I guess she said that after she had her first child, and I think she said it was like a cesarean, and the pain she was using the medication to self-medicate for the pain, and she said she wanted to find other holistic ways, and she said the joint chiropractic is what saved her because getting reset was relieving pain. I said cut the cat, Mia, because I ain't never heard nobody that was addicted to opioids going to get chiropractic work to help them like circumvent their addiction. Because in order to overdose, you have to have an addiction. That means you were addicted to the way they were making you feel. This sounds like a lie, but I'm going to let her have it because she put it out there. So if you put it out there, that means that we can critique it. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know how much I believe this because I've never heard anybody say that they were able to get over an overdose or an addiction through getting chiropractic like alignments. And I was like, and if that's so, why wasn't that something you brought up your first season? You was telling us all how you were in the foster care system, how your mama was a drug addict and everything, how your daddy burned you with oatmeal. And I was like, and now all of a sudden you doing opioids? It's too much. Okay. So Giselle is like, well, Mia, like y'all just need to find some way where y'all can come to terms and like just wipe the slate clean. And Mia pretty much tells Karen, like, I do love you, I do respect you, but I'm not gonna be a yes man for you. And Karen is like, I don't even know if you were really in my corner with the way that you have been coming at me. But then Karen ends up, after Giselle ends up being like, well, y'all just need to squash it. She said, well, you know what? I can admit that you have hurt me and I have hurt you and I have gone low. And I don't regret going low because I'll go low again. And everyone's like, no, let's just, wipe the slate clean again. Wipe it again. And what was funny about this whole interaction was Wendy's face, because I don't think Wendy was not privy to when Karen brought up that, Mia had an opioid addiction. So Wendy was like, girl, what? Opioids? Like, what's going on? So they were like, let's wipe the slate clean. Let's be on a level playing field. And Karen said, well, Mia is ball level. And Mia ends up saying, well, you would know about hanging balls. And then Karen ends up being like, well, of course you would know about because you like to be on different public balls. I said, okay, y'all. I will give Mia credit that she was holding her own against Karen, but Karen still tickled me the most when she was like, well, you be on different public balls. And I said, well, she not wrong. She just like Mia not wrong, because we know Ray's probably hang low as well. So they kind of wiped the slate clean. But Karen pretty much, like I said, made it known that like, if you gonna go low with me, I could go lower. So like, if we gonna play these games, let's play these games. You know what I'm saying? So then you see Ashley and Giselle being like, we have covered a lot today, Jesus. So I guess the conversation was pretty lengthy. And so Mia says in her confessional, I got more things to worry about other than Karen. She just needs to stop deflecting and own her stuff. And I said, well, stop being in her mess. Like, if you want her to own her stuff, then you have to stop like rummaging through it. Let her come to her own conclusions. So then the next scene we have is of Karen and her cousin David, which if you watched her special, he was in it. I didn't watch it, but I do remember seeing like a clip of him being in it. And they actually show like a PSA that she did for promoting people to come to Surrey County. So as they're sitting there, she is talking to him about the DUI. And he was like, yeah, that was scary. And she's just like, I'm just stressed. And she was like, stress just manifests differently in women and it comes out all in your body. And she said, honestly, everything kind of just came ahead. She was like, I had built up resentment to Ray and the tax issues. Like, I had to give him money. I didn't know about the tax issues. I really didn't grieve the death of my parents. Like, the whole reasoning for us to move to Virginia was so my parents could come live with me. And that never happened. And that night, it just exploded. So then in the confessionals, production is like, what do you mean by that? And Karen was like, I might have shared already too much. It's just like, when I can talk about it, I'll definitely talk about it. Then David starts crying because I guess he was on the phone with Karen when the crash happened. And so she's like, I'm sorry. Like, he was like, it was scary hearing you get into that crash. And so he starts wiping his eyes. Karen gets up to console him. And truthfully, I hope Karen, if she is able to be honest, come time to reunion, she really is honest and owns that, like, yeah, I was going through a lot, but I should have never got behind the wheel of a car. Like, I do have resentment built up with my husband. I am still like angry with the loss of both of my parents. And that night, me and my girls was talking and it manifested in me making a very horrible decision that could have cost me my life and others. And then we move on from it. Because at this point, she can't do nothing really other than keep telling us like it's a court case. Maybe after the court case she can talk about it, but I don't think she can if she got another one in December. Who really knows? Last part of the episode was about Mia, Ink, and Gordon, this embarrassing throuple. And y'all know I've been saying we need a timeline. So shouts out to a Twitter user by the name of J Tweets TV, because they made like a makeshift one and it had me tickled. They said Mia's lies are exhausting. Ink's her childhood sweetheart. She was married to her first son's dad, overdosed, fell in love with G, founded the joint because of the overdose, even though it's G's family business, dated an NFL player who had 2 babies on her. Girl, the lies. I'm tired. I said, girl, I'm tired too. Because I'm just kind of like, I forgot about the NFL player where she was trying to like make it seem like her and Kiana might have dated the same person or had the same experience. And I was like, when did that happen in the 11 years that you have been with this man? When? So we see Ink and Mia in their apartment. Mind you, I don't even think her son lives with her because the apartment is giving very much just like a 2-bedroom. I don't know, maybe 3. But like, I guess the production is really respecting that the oldest son that she had in a previous relationship that's not Gordon's really does not want to be on camera. I don't know if he's with his dad while she's filming or if he lives with Gordon. But like, there's really like no trace that they have 3 kids together. Or Mia has 3 kids. So we see Ink give the kids popsicles and they hopped up on sugar. You then see Gordon come in and it's awkward. It's awkward. Gordon immediately goes to Jeremiah, hugs him, and is like, hey, go get dad's iPad. So he runs and go gets his iPad. I don't know if he was picking up the kids or just coming by to see them and then going back to his apartment. But he's in there and it's just awkward. So then Mia's like, Gordon, we need to talk. And he was like, what we need? He was like, we don't need to talk about anything. Like, what do we need to talk about? And he was like, we need to talk about our co-parenting with Ink. And Gordon's like, what do I need to talk about my co-parenting relationship with Ink for? He's not in this. And then Gordon goes on to say, like, I told y'all, when it's just us and the kids, I'll be respectful, I'll be cordial. But I'm not about to sit here and film with y'all on camera and champion this relationship when I don't agree with it, you know? And so Mia's like, but we need to talk about this, Gordon. Like, Ink's gonna be a part of the family, and like, wouldn't you want to get to know the man that's around your kids? And Gordon's like, what do I need to talk to him for? And I actually agree. Like, why does he need to have like this friendship with Ink? Because Ink is like, Gordon, we cool, you know, we all cool. Like why you not trying to be cool with me no more? And Gordon's like, because every time I see you and look at you, it reminds me of my wife adultering. And I see a man that's trying to like separate my family, not bring it together. And Ink ends up being like, well, y'all relationship was already like past its expiration date. So I didn't break up your relationship. I didn't separate it. And then Mia was like, Gordon, our relationship wasn't in a good place. So then Gordon was like, what did he say? He ends up saying something to the effect of like, you cheated on me twice. You cheated at the beginning of the relationship and you cheated while we were in the relationship. And Mia wasn't trying to let Gordon get it out. And he kept saying it. And then he was like, did you know that she had an abortion? That she got pregnant with your child and had an abortion when we first got married? Ink kind of looked surprised but I feel like he looked surprised that Gordon said it, but not surprised at what happened. Because then he was like, oh, I ain't know nothing about that. And I was like, Ink gives very much like, if he didn't know about it, then he would have flipped. So I was like, it is given that you knew that she did that. And so Gordon's like, you know, she did that. And so Mia's like, really? And I said, well, girl, because here's the thing. I don't think it's wrong to get an abortion. I just don't. It's your body, your choice. I don't care. I feel like for me, I can see in this situation that Gordon did not want to have this conversation and they kept pressing him to have it. And I'm now starting to feel like Gordon was in on the scheme, but now he breaking code and doesn't want to do it anymore because he really felt like he was done. Like it really felt like in his demeanor that he was done. Like he legit was just like, I'm not having this conversation with you. Like I don't want to have this. And they kept like pressing him. And I'm trying to understand why Mia thinks it's important that Ink be a part of their co-parenting. He's a boyfriend. He's not your husband. He does not matter. Like, so I'm with Gordon. I wouldn't want to have this conversation either. Now, do he need to stop telling like the church's business? Because then he ends up being like, and you still think Jeremiah is your son? And Ink was like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And he was like, that's bullshit, bro. That's, yeah, no. And I'm just like, so first, Gordon, you put out there that Jeremiah might not be your son and that the kids saw her in bed with Ink. Now you putting out that she had an abortion. Like, Gordon basically is like, if you want a scene, I'm going to give you a scene, sis. So here we go. So they start going back and forth. Mia's just like, Gordon, our relationship was not normal. It wasn't normal. You put me through a lot. And we know Gordon has admitted to putting Mia through a lot. And Mia ends up saying that she stayed in the relationship longer because of like his mental state. And so Gordon was like, you know what, I'm done with this. So he like mics and like gives whoever the pack. And then Ink is like, you know, that's a lot. He was like, the kids is in here, y'all, you yelling back and forth, like all that profanity, bro. He ain't need to do all of that. And Mia is like, now you see what I've been dealing with. And she was just like, I'm kind of worried about where he is mentally. And Ink is like, that's not your problem anymore. Like, you don't need to be worried about that. And he kind of has this look like, I'm kind of done with this. And Mia's like, yeah, I just need to figure out what to do next because we have to figure out a way to move forward as a family. This storyline is just embarrassing at this point. Like I said in the intro, it's not entertaining anymore. And I'm looking at all the adults involved and I'm like, none of y'all care about these kids. Like, none of y'all do. Because if you did, you would find a way to not make it this way. Like, you would not present this information to us in this way. Okay? Because Ink looks like a goofy. He looks like a goofy, and Mia looks stupid. Gordon looks stupid, and it's just kind of like, why are y'all okay with this being attached to your name? Because when I Google all of them, the storyline pops up, and it's just like, so you're okay with this being how the world views you? Like, you're okay with this. And it's like, Ink doesn't care because Ink gives very much, I'm an opportunist. I'm going to use this to get my name out there, get my radio show out there. Because if he truly cared about the kids, you wouldn't allow yourself to be this involved in their life this early on, in my opinion. You would have definitely told Mia until the divorce is final and until we can be serious and open and honest, then I don't need to meet your children. But you're okay with that because you're okay with the salaciousness and the messiness of this story. Gordon, stop throwing things out there about this lady. Like, was I shocked that she had an abortion? No, because I'm very much pro-choice and that stuff doesn't matter to me. But stop revealing these things you threw out there about the paternity of your child, even though Mia cleared it up. Like at the reunion and shouldn't have brought it back to the show. You keep throwing things out there, sir. And you need to figure out how you gonna be. 1 minute you cool, the next minute you not. And I need you to pick an emotion, stick with it. And start to really think about your kids and stop embarrassing their mother because inadvertently that's embarrassing them. And then Mia, you're a goofy because why are you okay with this being your storyline? Because you're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing your kids. The lies are not funny anymore. They're just embarrassing. And it's like you can't really keep up with them. You're trying to paint this narrative that Gordon is unstable. But then I'm like, if he's unstable, why are you pushing him to have a conversation he clearly told you he didn't want to have? On top of that, why are you allowing him to watch the children while you run down to Atlanta to be up underneath another man? You're not making sense. It's just a stupid, immature storyline that's embarrassing. And it's like, I still think Mia is like being ushered in to be the third face of Potomac. How long she's going to be there, I don't know. Because the way the public has like done a 180, because I was even a part of that, where I was like, oh, Mia, I was excited to see Mia's storyline with Ink and Gordon. But now that it's being presented to us, it's like, I don't like it and I don't care no more, you know? So it's like Mia's gonna have to come up with something different. The same way with Lisa and Lenny on Real Housewives of Miami. No one cares about Lisa getting a divorce from Lenny anymore. We've had almost 4 seasons of it. Mia's storyline, we're gonna have to dead this after this season, and either you're gonna have to divorce Gordon entirely and start actively dating Ink, or you just gonna have to start all over, girl, because this ain't it. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. And as always, remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in them comments below, as well as like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.